Here we're just like a hatchery for monosex tilapia. So it's a bit like a factory really. It's we just do one thing. We don't really we don't do any grow out, and we don't do any other type of species really. You know, except we're just playing around with them a bit, you know. And like we were established about 12 years ago, so we've been going a while. We started off. This was our main farm originally, which would have had everything, you know, brood stock, hatchery, sex reversal, nursery sales. But now actually this farm now is just nursery sales. So there's other sites specialising in different things. So it starts off with brood stock, which we keep in happers. And the happers are like big happers, you know, like you can see over here. These big ones like this. These are not broodfish, but the same happers. So we stock like about 80 kilos of tilapia in a happer. And then every 5 days we collect the eggs from the mouth of the female. And you need a lot of broodfish because the fecundity is quite small, you know, especially the new broodfish. Normally, probably average about 800 eggs per spawn. And it's a bit like chickens in a way. It's a bit like, you know, if you want a lot of eggs and you need a lot of chicken, it's a bit like that, you know. And it's not like most fish species that they have a lot of eggs, but they don't take care of them, you know. Like tilapia, they take care of it, you know, I guess naturally, you know, for 2 or 3 weeks, you know. And so they invest in their offspring, you know, so they don't produce many. So that's a problem, you know, for their. Actually, it's a problem for the hatchery, obviously, low fecundity. But then most people misunderstand. They think, oh, the tilapia, they never stop breeding all the time, you know. Which is sort of a problem for the growth, which sort of don't seem to make sense, you know. But the fact is that they take care of their young, and they, no matter what conditions they're in, whether in, apart from in intensive, they don't tend to breed much in intensive. Whenever they're at low density, then they tend to breed. And so this farm, all we do is monosex. So, I mean, in town you also get mixed sex, and it's like a completely different system, you know. They basically just stock broodfish, and they make use manure or fertiliser, you know, for the pond, and then they same net fry at intervals. So it's like pretty simple, you know. No need for much feed or anything like that. And but with monosex, we need to collect eggs because we need some up fry that are just started feeding, of all the same age. If we collected fry, then there'd be old ones mixed in, and it wouldn't work. It doesn't work well, you know. Even if like you collect every 14 days and just scoop young fry and grade them and take out the tiny ones, they still don't get 100%. And so to collect eggs every 5 days. The reason we collect 5 days, the main reason I guess, is that we're able. The fish could spawn on day 1, day 2, day 3, or day 4. Which gives us a chance to actually separate them. When we take them from the female, we can actually identify which ones are spawned on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, yeah? And we would call them like stages. So stage 1 is like no eyes. Stage 2 just eyed. Stage 3 are almost hatching. And stage 4 are hatched. So they're like sack fry. And like obviously there's a lot of investment in labour, and you know, every 5 days you have to go through a lot of fish and collect eggs. And you have to identify which stage the eggs are to put them in together, so that when they go through the hatchery and they get to swim up fry, then the same day they all start to feed. That gives you the best chance of sex reversing or controlling the sexual development. And then after that point, so in the hatchery, I'll show you in a minute, it's just that's the only point of the process that's actually in a tank. The rest is all in happers, so as soon as they go out of the hatchery, swim up fry, then they get stocked in sex reversal in happers again. And then they stock, depends on your production, but a 5 square metre happer, they stock about 30,000. 30,000. So like we use 20, so that's 120,000. Like we used to use 5, 10, you know, it depends on your production. And it takes 21 days. And you can see the feed here. Basically it's just pure fish meal, like very high quality fish meal. Oh. You know, like the best you can get for palatability, with the hormone methyl testosterone at 60 ppm, which has been mixed in via using ethanol to dissolve it, and then the ethanol's evaporated off. So it's a waste of ethanol. And actually, it costs much more for the ethanol than it does for the hormone. about 3 times more, like, you know. Most people think the home one's expensive, but you don't use very much, you know. I mean, 60 ppm, it's tiny, really, amount, you know. I mean, like 5 grams, you can do 11 mixes, 7.5 kilos, so that's that. 90 kilos, something like that, you know, from 5 grams.
How do you mix
But
that?
you need a lot of ethanol.
Yeah.
You need gallons and gallons of ethanol. You can save money, you know, you can mix water and things like that, but then you risk quality, you know. And you can use cheaper fish meal. You can, well, when I was at AIT, I used to use like grade A Thai. That's what was, you know, I mean, they didn't have a huge production, so it wasn't like they could buy 10 wheel trucks and, you know, source better stuff, you know.
You mix that here?
Yeah, I mean, you have to mix it because it's not available. Even if it was, you won't be able to trust it. So you have to make it right, you know, you only want to make a few days, you don't want to make too much, otherwise if the hormone degrades or something. Because it obviously degrades quite quick, you know, because you have to feed it 5 times a day, to every 2 hours. I mean, if it stayed in the system or if it didn't break down quick, then it probably won't need to feed it so often, you know. And so they get fed this for like 21 days in the happer. And then, and they're at high density, quite high density, so they don't get much opportunity to get so much natural food. Obviously, if you reduce the density, then they will get more natural food in like in a certain size happer. There's going to be a certain amount of natural food. If it's divided by 30,000 fish, then they don't get much, you know. But if you only put 5,000 in, then they'll grow a lot more and they'll eat a lot more. The palatability of the feed comes in because tilapia, the ability to eat so many different things, you know. They eat algae, they can eat plankton, zooplankton, phytoplankton, you name it, you know. So if the feed you give them, they don't, not 100% of them, they're not keep, you know, 1 or 2, yeah, they prefer natural food, then they won't eat it and then they won't get sex reversed. So like, it all comes into the quality, you know. And so it's 21 days, and then after that period, they get graded. And some of them are actually big enough to sell, they're like an inch already. And some of them are small, so then they go to the nursery department, which is, they stock them at low density, and it's a like just a normal feed without hormone. And basically their job is to grade the feed, get them to an even size, but you don't want to grade them just before you sell them, because then they'll be stressed by it, you know, and some will die in the bags and things. So it's like you leave them too long, and then the size varies again. So it's like their job, you know, is basically getting those fish to I guess a market size, you know, 1 inch is what we most usually sell, you know. And but there could be other sizes. If you can't sell all your fish, then obviously you've got to keep them, and then you know, you get other sizes, you know, for short periods. And then they're sold, and it's just like a daily routine, you know. It just like every day they collect eggs, every day they go to sex reversal. It's just like a factory, really, like a process line, you know. And they're very specialised, like different than any other fish species, really. And that's why you tend to specialise in just one thing. But you may get people who are customers who do carps, or, you know, catfish. But for them to do monosex, it won't too much bother. And if they're not good, then they're useless. If you get less than 99% male, then they're useless. They might as well just stop mixed sex, and they're 3 times cheaper. So they have to be good to be worth the money, you know. And if they are good, then they are worth the money, you know. They're like a huge difference. So when they grow out, you know, I mean, before when they're mixed sex, it was normally like an annual cycle, really. It's like, you know, they stocked them like early rainy season, and then and obviously they breed, and then you get predators. Some predators coming in like snakehead, and then they finally control the population to some extent, you know. And finally you get, you know, not a great size, you know, all even different sizes, you know, all different prices and things like that, you know. And then with good monosex, if they like clean the pond out so there's no wild fish and they filter the water, then total culture period can be like 6 months. If they nurse and then stock bigger fingerlings, then 4 months, you know. So the productivity per area, you know, increases a lot. And then the fish, especially if they stock fingerlings, they'll tend to be all similar size, all the same price. If they stock 1 inch ones, then they'll still vary in size. But it's still better than a year, you know. 6 months is still better than like 9, 10 months. And then the other problem is that everybody sells fish at the same time, and then the price comes down, and you know, it's like fruit or something. But with monosex, tends to be like not so seasonal, you know. Only seasonal due to the if some farms might have water in the dry season, or if they flooded out, they don't want to stock fish in end of the rainy season. But they're not not like the mixed sex. We always tend to be early rainy season, harvest start of the year, the next year, and then wait for the rain, you know, dry the ponds out, and then restock again. So
this is 24. I mean, year round.
Oh yeah, it's all year round. Yeah, like we get a cold season, but it's not that cold. It varies a bit, but it impacts the production. I mean, it's okay for broodfish because they like it cool, but the fry, they don't like it cool, and then they get parasite problems. And the culture, like in hatchery, can double the incubation time, and in sex reversal they come out small at the end, so they grow slower, you know, and they eat less. So you have to extend the sex reversal, and then if you get parasites, then obviously they don't heal so quick. And so it depends how cold it gets, but we suffer about 2 months normally, you know, December, January, and then the broodstock, they suffer this time of year. Like, not so bad, it's getting cooler now, but April, end of April, it's like really hot, you know, and then we get like streptococcus disease. You don't get it in fry, but you get it with adults. So it's either a broodstock or wild fish outside the happers. And but the main thing is the egg production goes right down. It's hot, and the egg quality goes right down. So you don't get left with many eggs, you know. And that's the time when people stock fish at early rainy season. And so it's like sod's law. You get high production at the end of the rainy season when they don't stock. And then you get another big stocking period like in the cold season, December, January, February, and then you get low production because of these other problems, and then you get high production again in March, April, and then nobody's got water, and then it gets too hot, and then, you know, it's like sod's law, like, really. And because you got so many broodfish, it's difficult to manipulate them, you know. It's not like you can, you know, shade everything or, like, you know, inject like you do with carps and things like that, you know.
Your fish meal?
It's not fish meal, this is rice bran.
Rice bran.
Yeah. So basically all the feed stuffs have to be sieved because the mouth's quite small, you know, the fish when they're small. And anything that's coarse won't be eaten, it will just be left in the happer, you know. So this is actually for nursery feed. You know, I said the sex reversal just use fish meal only, yeah? In the nursery, I'll show you the finished feed here. Like. So this is what they use for nursery. It's just like a mix of like fish meal, soy, cassava, rice bran, corn, sometimes 1 or 2 other things, you know. So the protein's about 30%, something like that. But there's no hormone, you know, it's just like, at this point we want the feed to be palatable because we want them to eat the hormone, you know. But at this point they can eat the natural food, doesn't matter. Because they're already male by this time, you know.
This is after 21 days?
Yeah, after 21 days, yeah. So it's average, it's only 6 days and then they're sold, it's not a long time. Just, you know, getting them to the 1 inch, that's all. Fish meal, most of the fish meal, normally the fish meal used like imported, like Peruvian, you know, the anchovy. But actually this is tuna, like Thai. But it's like, not the whole tuna, but parts of it, you know, from the factory. Because it's fresh, been brought in fresh, that's why it's that colour, you know.
Yeah.
When it's like brown, then it's obviously the fish have gone in like, well, you know, most fish here, trash fish, it's just trash. So they don't put it on ice or anything. Whereas in the stuff in South America, they're producing specially for fish meal. So I don't know if they freeze it, what they do with it, but it's like, it's all yellow colour. And yellow colour means nice, smell. Yellower it is, the better.
Yeah.
Browner it is, the worse it is. Black is bad, you know. And the other thing is we want fish meal that floats also. And this stuff tends to float more. The Thai stuff, because I guess it's so many different species of fish. It's like every batch is different.
Oil, yeah.
It could be due to the fat, yeah. I think if it's higher fat, there's more chance it floats, you know. I think it's a bit hard to not being able to quite work that one out, you know.
Is it ground?
The only way to do it is just put it on water and find out.
Right on. Yeah.
This is the hatchery. There's 2 main parts to it. There's the eggs, which are incubators. See at the front and the back, yeah. And then you've got hatchlings, sac fry, and they have different needs. The eggs don't swim, and they have bacterial problems, so you need a slow sand filter to remove the bacteria. That's why there's all the concrete and all the sand in the back here. Yeah? So these are like recirculating systems. When they hatch out, then they start to swim, so they'll swim out of the incubator. So then we transfer them to trays. when they're sack fried, they're no problem with bacteria. There's no need for the sand filter, so we only have to put a big gravel filter. And it takes, for stage 1, which is just fertilised, take 3 days to hatch. And then they take 5 days to sugar fry. So maximum like 8 days, you know, in here. And there's 3 hatcheries like this. This one's doing, here you can see on this whiteboard, yeah? This is like Tilapia strain. Yeah. This is a Bignin, we call it Bignin. This one's a hybrid, which is a Tilapia gift hybrid. And there's another hatchery that's gift tilapia, and then another hatchery that's 2 red tilapia strains. So this is like, they collect every 5 days. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah? This is like the kilos of eggs, you know, they collect it.
Oh.
This is the 5-day total. This is like last month, this is the new month. We got new brood fish set up here, so we're increasing, but also you see as the weather's, last month, as the weather was getting cooler, the egg production was rising. If we got to like July, August, maybe like over 20 kilos by then, you know. And then this is the viability of the eggs. So when they collect the eggs, they check. And there's 4 stages, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stage 1 just fertilised, so they're lower viability. Because the female sorts the eggs in her mouth. Any dead eggs she gets rid of. So the other stages tend to be better quality. And it was.
How do you separate?
It's increasing, yeah. As you see, these are low quality. These ones, it's only 49% viable.
How do you? So how do you from what 9 kilograms of eggs?
Yeah. That's the total from all the 4 stages.
Okay, from all the 4 stages.
And then this is the survival they got.
Okay.
So this one they got 0 survival, yeah? Oh, there was no eggs on that one. Yeah, they got 20, so that's the maximum survival they can get, because that's the viable number, yeah? And that's the survival they got, yeah?
Yeah.
So you can get a good feel, because all the data goes in the database anyway, so a month later you get all the statistics out, you know? But you want something quicker, you know, that you can see what's going on, you know? How many eggs you want, you know? Day by day, you know? You want to keep an eye on things closely, you know? The eggs are moving, yeah? But without making them too visible, you know, without making the eggs, you know, it's like unnatural, isn't it? You know, it's like totally clear. Yeah. Well, although I don't think it's a problem, you know, but it's nice for the, I mean, the original ones we have made once, they were like thick and like, you know, like white colour. You couldn't see in, so you have to always look in the top all the time. These ones you can see through, you know, if the eggs stop moving, you notice.
It's matting, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just normal, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, these are like, normally sell them 1,000 baht for one of them.
Yeah.
700 for one and 800 for one of them. Some people use these other ones, you know, like with a tray on the back, like the McDonald's jack, yeah? They're probably good, especially with people who don't harvest the eggs very often. You know, if they like don't harvest 5 days, if they harvest 7 days, then you tend to get eggs that are mixed ages, and then they swim out, you know, the older ones. So they separate themselves a bit. But ours should be all the same age, the eggs, so like, they all get transferred at the same time, you know. You know, they have like, because they have like forms for the database and everything.
Okay.
And they also
oh, they have to fill out there.
and,
yeah, okay.
So we know that every happer, what the production is, how many fish. You know, they get count the fish once a month.
Okay.
Weigh them anyway. We'll just wait now. And then after they collect the eggs, then they get taken to the hatchery and just in the back of the truck.
And just in the
just in the incubator.
Okay, in an incubator. Yeah.
You'll probably see it at the front of the farm, you know, like mobile. So then they fill it with new water each day, you know. So they'll take it to the front of the farm and. You know, because it just recirculates in it, and the water gets dirty then. Water separately from outside, you know. So if you get a disease in one area, then the idea you can drain the whole area. The problem is if you've got one farm, you drain your ponds, and you've still got like a reservoir. And when you put the water back in, then the disease is going to get it again. Yeah.
Right.
But if you plan your farm so that your reservoir and your ponds in one zone, you can drain the whole thing. Yeah.
Right.
And that's it. Your disease is gone, like, you know.
Yeah.
And then you're off again, just like a separate farm, you know.
Yeah.
And,
downtime is.
Yeah, so it's like a bit more biosecurity, you know.